Hello, so today we're going to be going over a Poppy reroll game. So, today we already, or yesterday, sorry, I did my last Syndra game, so hopefully we won't have to ever do another Syndra VOD review again. But this case, we're starting off with Crab Rave. I don't really like these ones that give you a bunch of gold, because I feel like if someone high rolls their opener, they get into like getting crazy spots and stuff like that. So there's a lot of variance in this game, we're going to try our best. This is obviously on the last patch. So this is going to be with the Syndra reroll meta. I start with the Zoe early on. If we get some Zoe items, we can maybe consider playing Zoe reroll. So Zoe Poppy reroll, something that I kind of looked in the stats. It's something that was theorized really early on, but people are really skeptical to play it. I think it's one of those comps that's very gatekept with Syndra because you don't want to invest so much gold early when Syndra scales so well into late game that you'd rather just like waste that gold on a higher level and maybe find yourself a Syndra. But I do expect this comp to be very, very strong in the upcoming patch. They're buffing Lilia, they're buffing Scholars, they're buffing Ryze. They're basically buffing like a lot of the units around this comp. They're buffing Ahri by a lot, which we'll talk about Ahri a little bit later. But anyways, I feel like I'm always skeptical about this comp. I feel like Ahri can miss a lot, which I'll talk about later. Hopefully I'll remember. And I feel like it's very contingent on getting to a level 8 board. I think that's really, really important to the comp, which I'll try and show you a little bit in the stats just to give you like a little bit of an idea of it, or a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. So we're starting the game. I don't have that many. I just started with a rod. I didn't really start with anything great here. So I think I kind of just commit like very like, I kind of want an easy game, so I just want to play a reroll comp type of beat. I think that's what I kind of commit to it for that reason. This comp is also extremely forcible with Spellblades, by the way. Now, Spellblades is getting nerfed in the upcoming patch, so be careful about that. But that used to be like the previous tech. Like, people would only play it with Spellblades because Spellblades worked really well with all the Scholars, and just playing like the 4 Scholar, 4 Bastion variation, which we'll go over after. Because here I get a tier and a rod, so I feel that's pretty comfortable. One copy of each is pretty rough, but I have a lot of gold. So let's see what first augment is, and then we'll decide what we do here. Oh, you know what's gonna happen? I'm probably gonna take Shimmer Scale. I'm gonna forget about the 7 gold again. I feel like that's gonna happen. Witchy Wallop. Oh, do I just take Witchy Wallop? Oh, I think I'm too scared to take Witchy Wallop, even though I'm angling, and then take Shimmer Scale. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys now. Every single time I take the Shimmer Scale augment, I always forget that the econ caps out at 70. Please, I understand that it's a bad look for me. Please understand that. This is a new thing they put in this set. My bad. I'm warning you guys now. But at the same time, if you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. If that's something that turns you off really hard, then I'm sorry, and please consider not unsubscribing. That would be really mean. Well, actually, it wouldn't matter. Do what you want, but try and be considerate of the fact that I'm an idiot sometimes. I don't have much of an opener, but I'm just gonna try to econ up as much as possible. I don't think I'm gonna cash out much on this Mogul's Mail. I think that's what I was thinking of. I think I checked the stats and it said that Gambler's Blade wasn't that great on Poppy. For this early game, I'll just show you guys the team build so that we can have a better idea of what we're aiming for. So basically what we're going for is 1, 2, that's Lilia, yes, and Zoe, and where's Hecarim, and Ahri, Hecarim, looking for Hecarim, and then Tarek and Ryze, and we'll just put a last Scholar. We'll just put Milio because this is like the proper board. So basically this is what you're aiming for. Usually what you do is you 3-star Poppy, you 3-star Lilia, you 3-star Poppy, you 3-star Zoe, and a lot of times on your max cap you're also 3-starring Ahri. So let's just talk about all of the logistics about this comp when we get there. So a lot of times you're trying to get to this high end situation where you find a Ryze and a Tarek. It gives you Portal, which scales off of the amount of 3 stars that you get, which is nice because you're going to 3-star your Zoe. And you also get 4 Bastion, 4 Scholar. So Scholar is getting buffed. Scholar basically grants extra mana on attack, so it basically works like to benefit. Sorry, let me lower the music a little bit. It works to benefit a lot of your backline units in terms of casting. And then Bastion just works as like this impenetrable wall that you're trying to make with 4 Bastion. Similar to how you play 4 traits of other frontline augments with a lot of other comms, namely for Vanguard. Bastion isn't as strong as for Vanguard, I wouldn't say, but or I would say, but it's still very viable in this comp because you have such tanky units as 3-star Poppy and 3-star Lilia. Now with Poppy, you're usually just trying to make generic tank items, and with Zoe, a lot of times, I think the best items you can make is something like blue buff, I believe Nashers, and Rabadons. Don't quote me on exactly the item build, but a lot of times blue buff is really important on the Zoe, just because you want to bring down that mana threshold so that she casts a bunch of time and does a bunch of damage, and you're going to be gaining so much extra mana from Scholar anyways that you don't really need the extra mana per auto attack on the Shojin. But that being said, all items are fine. You can kind of make it work out. The other items, like if you make a Shojin build on Zoe, it's also playable. It's not that bad. Now, if we look at the this comp in general, so a lot of times you're going to roll for the Poppy, Zoe, Lilia, and then you're going to try and get the Ahri, Hecarim. You're going to try and push levels to try and find these Ryze, Taric, Hecarim, Ahri, and 3-star everybody else. And then you're usually going to cap out on level 8. You can play another Scholar instead of Milio, but Milio just gives you the extra fairy as well as drops a bunch of extra items to help itemize the rest of your board. So Milio is your best last Scholar unit that you can play. But after that, your board's complete on level 8, which is really nice. 1 second. Just gotta open up this tab. Now this is what I'll say about this comp. This comp in general, I find is a little bit too volatile for me. When I'm playing around a 1-cost reroll, a lot of times with 1-cost rerolls, I'm kind of aiming that it's like a very consistent 3rd/4th. That's what I usually like to see with the comp. I feel like the comp is a little bit awkward to play sometimes, and I'll tell you why. So let's go to Explorer, and I'll just type in, just in general, let's say we have Zoe 3, and then we have like Poppy 3, and we'll put in, I don't know, like Lilia 3 as well. But Lilia 3 doesn't really matter that much. I'm just trying to make it so it's the same comp. As you see, it averages like a 4.39. That's not bad. 4.5 is average, so it is a good comp. If you look at the differences with the units, a lot of times you'll see like Ahri, Hecarim, Taric, and Ryze are like a -1 on the delta. So a lot of the time, this comp feels very reliant on getting to a point where you're playing a Taric Ryze. And if you put like a Ryze 1 or something like that, like a Ryze decreases, but if you put like a Ryze 1-star, you'll see that it averages like a 5. A lot of times it's like your comp is broken once you hit like a Ryze 2 as well as like a Taric 2. That's my understanding of it, at least. It's very hard to like convert this to a very, very consistent top 4. I'm not saying it's not a good comp. I'm saying a very consistent top 4 means that you gotta hit like the Ryze Taric and you gotta get to like your complete board. If you're stuck on like level 6, level 7, especially if you're in a bad spot where you don't hit the 3-star variations of these units, you run into a little bit of an awkward problem. Now the secret sauce though is Ahri, actually. So Ahri, if you have like an Ahri 2, you'll see that it doesn't average that well. An Ahri 3 is what really brings a lot of the board together sometimes. It doesn't show that well in the stats. But in China, there was China Tech, like there's all the Twitter tweets and everything that I'm reading about, trying to learn the stuff so I can interpret it and tell you guys about it. Usually a lot of times you're trying to not even roll for Zoe Poppy necessarily. You want to push levels and roll on like level 5 or 6 to try and hit Ahri 3. And you actually play this line around Ahri 3 more so than the Zoe 3 and the Poppy 3, just because Ahri is really good at shredding through the front line. If you don't know, Ahri shoots like a ball, it does magic damage, then on the return trip it does true damage. It's pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's just like the same in like, it's like her Q in League. I don't play League, but I played an Ahri clone in Eternal Return because I played a lot of Eternal Return. So if I'm not mistaken, it shoots out and then it comes back and it does magic when it goes out and then it does true damage when it comes back. What you can do with Ahri is if you position the comp really well. So we'll go back to the team builder, right? A lot of people kind of talk about positioning Ahri and playing around Ahri instead of the Zoe. So let's say you have like an Ahri 3 and you have like some frontline units. I'll just put like, I'm just going to throw in a bunch of units, right? A lot of times what you're trying to do with Ahri, like I'm sure you probably saw the Twitter threads on it, is that you're trying to get like the opponents to kind of like wrap. So let's say you position your front line like this. You want the units to kind of line up in a straight line. So right here, Ahri would target the Twitch because that's the closest unit, right? If they have like, let's say they have 3 units in their front line. Ahri would target the Twitch, but because Ahri doesn't have damage reduction when she's like hitting multiple units and she does like the true damage on the way back, Ahri's really good at shredding through tanks. So what's going to happen here is if you position something like this where you split your front line, the enemy front line is going to try and walk up, and then the Ahri, in trying to hit the Twitch, is going to hit the Blitzcrank as well with her cast, and she'll shred through both of the units. And Ahri, like, if you have like an Ahri 3 fully itemized, she can delete units a lot faster than the Zoe can delete units. So a lot of the optimal boards will play around this Ahri unit instead of playing around the Zoe, but either way, you still have to make it to like 4 Scholar with like the Rise Taric, 4 Bastion to kind of support this whole playing field. And also, like, all these things on Twitter are always great, but in my experience in practice, it doesn't matter if you like, oh, easy, you just position like this and then the units will align and the Ahri will kill everybody. It's like, yes, that makes sense sometimes, but like, what if your opponent knows this and then your opponent positions it differently? What if your opponent just positions everything like this because he sees the shit that you're doing, right? Like, positioning is like a two-way street, so you can't just be like, oh yeah, just position like this, easy clap, Ahri's broken. It's like, you know, it's like a handshake. It's like a rock, paper, scissors. It's the fighting game aspect of TFT that I enjoy a lot. But, you know, that's just, I'm just telling you guys so that you guys are informed. I'm just giving you guys a bunch of extra knowledge here, or as much as I can. Let's go back a little bit. We're just gonna see my spot over here. So obviously, I'm rolling a little bit on 3-1. I'm trying to hit the 3 stars to stabilize myself. I'm pretty close to some of them. I'm not in the greatest spot. I took extra rod. I'm greeting my items. I won a fight, which was unfortunate. I think I was trying to 5 loss streak. And like I said before, I will 100% forget about the shimmer scale going to 70. This is the second time I do it. I'm going to make an effort to never do this again. It is embarrassing. I've VOD reviewed myself twice and noticed it both times. Do not do, if you get the shimmer scale gold augment, it makes your interest set to 70, so you don't have to like slow roll at 50. You should slow roll at 70 or go up to 70. Now, taking my next augment, Unleash the Beast is really good. I'm looking for some kind of combat augment. Whenever you're playing a reroll comp, you always want to have like a really strong combat augment. Unleash the Beast is okay on Poppy, but usually I think those stats are skewed by Witchy Wallop. If you take out Witchy Wallop, Unleash the Beast is pretty bad. Witchcraft Crest is interesting, but it's not the board that I'm trying to play, so I don't think it does that much. I could pivot and just play Vertical Witchcraft and play like 6 Witchcraft around the Zoe and the Poppy, but I just decided to take Crown Guarded. I just need a frontline item. I would prefer a frontline item on this Poppy. And here I'm just rolling a little bit. I know it's level 5, but I'm going to roll till 30 gold and then reestablish my econ. I just want to roll until I hit at least somebody as a 3-star to stabilize me. Obviously, I'm playing this in not the greatest of spots. I wouldn't call my spot for this comp particularly great, but the reason I'm so freely rolling, or the reason I think it's okay to roll that well, is because I have a lot of gold extra because of the shimmer scale augment. Now, that being said, I'm in a bad spot in general just because it's also Crab Rave, so I really need to hit one of these 3 stars so that I can stabilize my board and then start winning some rounds and be in a better spot. I'm 1 off the Zoe and I'm 2 off the Poppy. Hitting just the Zoe is enough, and then I'm gonna start pushing levels. Like I said, the more modern way to play this, so this was obviously this exact video was done around a week ago, just to let everybody know here. So after this week of people playing stuff and figuring out the patch and figuring out the new tech, that's why I was talking a lot about Ahri. You won't see me play around Ahri in this game, but I wanted to let you know to keep you up to date, and maybe in a future video, because Ahri is getting buffed, so I'm sure Ahri is going to be the main unit in this reroll comp coming next Wednesday. I want to give everybody who watches my videos a nice heads up so you can try it out and learn about it and check it out, so that when it shows up on Wednesday, you're not like shocked of like, where did Ahri come from? Why is Ahri being played all of a sudden? That a lot of this is like in the works so far. So like I said, I didn't know about that tech in this video, so obviously I'm rolling for the Zoe 3 instead of just pushing levels. A lot of times you just roll slightly and then you will push levels to level 5/6, and then you'll just roll on 5 and 6 and 3-star everybody there, because the odds don't decrease by that much on 5 and 6 for 1-stars. A lot of times you see it, a lot of times with Kog'Maw reroll, you'll see it with some other reroll comps that you'll just hit the 3-star 1 cost later in the game while rolling for your 3-star 2 cost, for example. Anyways, that's all the intro stuff. That's the little guide aspect and all the fun stuff of the like, you know, how to play and all of that. Now we're just going to watch through the video. We're going to annotate. We're going to try and see if we can position and play better. A lot of times if you have Mogul's Mail, you'll want to solo frontline the unit with the Mogul's Mail so that the stacks go as high as possible, as well as they soak up as much damage. Right now I'm just too scared that my Poppy is going to be deleted instantly, so I'm just triple frontlining for that sake. I don't want to roll anymore. I found a Rise. Obviously that's really high roll for me because that's one of the keys into getting towards 4 Scholar and the portal setup. So I can just hold on to this Rise. I want to push levels. I'm not going to roll for Poppy 3. I'm not going to roll for RE3. I want to make it to like a level 8 board so that I can fit in the 4 Bastion and the 4 Scholar, because I think that's going to be more important. Especially now that I have, what's it called? Do I make Giant Slayer? Ooh, Giant Slayer is kind of risky. I think I'm just really scared. I'm making Giant Slayer means I'm not going to play towards Nashor's Tooth, but I think I'm just too scared to wait for Nashor's Tooth that I just want to put Giant Slayer on my Zoe. Because I want to win these fights, because I already feel like I'm in a bad spot. And the only reason it looks like it's the only reason it's a really bad spot is because it's Crab Rave. Like, this guy is level 7, 50 gold. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's Crab Rave and he has explosive growth, so he's in like an insane spot. But that's what I mean. I feel like I'm pretty far behind because I didn't, like, we didn't watch most of my stage 2, but I was kind of forcing into this comp. As you saw when I first started, I only had 1 copy of each of the units. This is what I was trying to say. This comp isn't something you can just play by choice. It's kind of like if you start with a lot of copies of the units, then it's good. A lot of the reason why I'm in such a bad spot is, or why I consider my spot bad, is because I didn't start with as many copies of these units to be able to push the levels that I want to while hitting the units as well. So I don't think my spot's low roll per se. I think I just like didn't. This wasn't a game that I should have played Zoe. I was just kind of like bored, and I wanted to do it for YouTube's sake of like playing the comp and practicing it. Like, I think this was like off stream me grinding, and I'm like, you know, I should learn how to play this comp. You know, I have a decent spot for it maybe. As you can see, part of the reason why I'm saved in this game, we haven't been seeing a lot of Syndras. Not a lot of people are hard playing towards Syndra in this game, which is kind of shocking considering the patch, but that's what happens sometimes. I think I just got into a lobby where everybody's bored of playing Syndra, so there's just not that many Syndra players. But anyways, I'm just holding these copies of units. Like I said, I'm very dumb. I forget about the 70 for Shimmer Scale a lot. So obviously make sure that you're hitting your 70 with the Shimmer Scale. Shimmer Scale with Crab Rave is insane because of the 70 threshold, right? Because you can make 70 and make more interest. A lot of times when you're in these econ galaxies where you're getting a lot of gold and you have the Shimmer Scale, it's usually like a free win because you can just push levels and just go straight to 9. It's something that I greatly misidentified and misplayed in this game, and that's why I'm making a big deal about it, because I want to make sure that not only do I remember to never do this again, but I also teach you guys to never do it again. Morello is really good on Rise, so I might just hold off these to make Morello, and then I'll maybe make a Steadfast and play around the Cloak. I think that would be my best slams. I'm rolling a little bit here. I really shouldn't. I should just level. I don't know what I'm rolling for. I think I'm just trying to hit the Poppy. Yeah. I was 1 off the Poppy, or I was 2 off the Poppy, and I just want to stabilize. Yeah, and then push level to 6. Morello on Rise. Steadfast on Poppy is good. Steadfast with Crown Guard works really well, because Steadfast keeps you alive above the Crown Guard threshold, and then as soon as Steadfast procs that you drop below, the Crown Guard kind of synergizes. Like, they have like a similar... They synergize nicely, so sometimes making Steadfast and Crown Guard together works out well, because when one stops working, the other one kicks in, and you have like constant uptime on them. But anyways, we should be fine now, because now I feel like my spot's decent. Oh, do I lose against the Zillion? That's gonna be so sad. Zillion's so good. Oh, I lose against the Zillion. I was just gonna say this is great. But this is like an average luck game. I don't think I high rolled. I don't think I low rolled. I got a Rise off Carousel. That's maybe the biggest high roll that I had. But I think this is the problem with forcing towards this comp. I never want to suggest these one-cost... like, sometimes one-cost rerolls are good at just getting a 4th. I feel like this comp... See, I got bailed out. I got Spellblades, by the way. So, my spot wasn't particularly good. I was kind of aiming the spot towards like maybe at best a 4th, more or less. That's what I mean to tell you guys. I think that's how this comp kind of works. Unless you like high roll into a lot of the units and high roll, or you have like a really good opener for it, like let's say you just start with like a Zoe 3, a Poppy 3, or something crazy like that. I don't think this comp really warrants like forcing towards it and just getting a first, similar to some of the other rerolls. That's just my opinion of it. And I think that but I think starting Wednesday it will be something that a lot of people will be forcing, namely the Ari reroll aspect of it. Now I don't talk about Ari that much, but we'll watch her a little bit. The biggest problem that I had with Ari was I played Ari reroll before. I've played Ari reroll on stream and I never made a video about it because it was so bad. And the reason it worked out really bad with the Ari reroll, I wasn't playing this particular variation. I was playing like an Arcana variation because I had Arcana spat in that game. And the variation that I played, I was relying solely on Ari for damage. And the biggest problem I had with Ari was certain comps, she just whiffs. So when she shoots her orb, the orb trajectory doesn't track or anything. So if the unit moves to the side for some reason, or if we're playing against like, you know, melee frontline, for example, where there's a Fiora or a Gwen where they're hopping around, or a Nyla, even like the Cassin Akali builds, what happened is I was rerolling, I was in a similar spot, I hit RE3, I had 3 items, and I lost 2 fights horribly because my Ari just whiffed on like the main unit because they just moved to the side, and then she whiffed again because they moved again out of the way. Now it's a little bit unlucky, but that when you have a unit like that, I'm kind of like, you know, not really for the comp. That's why I don't really like think very highly of like playing around this particular line, which I've expressed in the past as well. But obviously I'm showing you for knowledge sake because I think it will be meta come Wednesday, at least a lot more than it is now. Now I think you have to have a really good spot for it, and then it's a pretty consistent anywhere between 3rd and 1st. If you have a good spot for it. If you have a bad spot for it, you're pretty much just playing for 4th a lot of the time. And then I think come Wednesday, it's going to be like everybody's going to try and play Ari reroll, because I think if you hit RE3 with this setup, you will probably go first. I think it will be very, very strong. Now, mind you, a lot of the reason that in this game my spot suddenly just turned great is because I got Spellblades. Spellblades was like the main augment where you would hard force towards Zoe and Poppy and 4 Scholars. Spellblade just works really, really well with Ryze, works really, really well with Zoe, just works really, really well with the whole board. Here I'm just playing the 4 Bastions, and then like I don't have a Taric yet, but I'm hoping to find a Taric eventually, and I'm just trying to play for placement, so I'm very aggressively leveling and using my gold. So here I just take the rerolls, I level, and I'm just trying to find a Scholar, which I find Bard, and I'm just trying to at this point stabilize, because I know that it's Crab Rave. I know that other boards are getting way out of hand and are going to be really strong, so I just want to make sure that I ooh, this is bad. Sell. I don't identify it. I'm too dumb. I lock. This is how you know that I'm too stupid sometimes. Oh, I sold. Oh, what did I? Oh my god, that's the worst thing I could have done. Oh, you can tell that I couldn't figure it out because I said to myself, who am I? Why don't I have space for this? Oh, that was so embarrassing. Oh, okay, we leave it all on the table here. I just wanted you know, we show you guys everything unfiltered. That was me. Like I said, this was probably off stream, and there was a good chance that I was playing this at like 4 a.m. and my brain was just shutting off. So my bad. Very embarrassing. But what I was supposed to do was I was supposed to sell Ari and sell Nunu, and then put in the Taric, and then my board is complete and I get Portal in, which would have helped me in this fight. Now it didn't matter this fight. I couldn't figure it out, so I said, okay, I'm just gonna sell 1, 2, 3, and I was gonna sell one of the Lilias because I said I'm probably not gonna hit Lilia 3 anyways. So I sold a Scholar, and then I had to sell it to buy the Taric and not the reroll, and now I'm down a Scholar. I kind of just messed up my whole board, but usually you would just have Bard here in place of whenever you would get Milio, and then you would have 4 Scholar in to help out your damage on your backline. Here I've got Spark, so I'm just gonna Spark Taric because I already have 3 items on Poppy. Witchcraft, what's it called? Karma is really good, so I expect this to be a really hard fight to win. But I did spike pretty hard, right? If I had 4 Scholar, I would be a lot more like happy with my position. But this Poppy is going to be really tanky, especially with these items. And Rise with the Zoe now, I feel like my backline damage is stabilized. Obviously, you can also stabilize around the RE3, which is like the more quote-unquote modern way of playing it. I say modern as a joke because it's like basically the last week what people figured out. And as you can see, because we've been winning a lot of fights, all of a sudden, we have a lot of HP, and it's a pretty consistent top 4. We're going to fall off eventually, but I still have room to spike. I can get some items for Rise. I have to upgrade Rise to Rise 2, and I also have to upgrade Tarek into Tarek 2. But for the time being, I could just econ up, but because I'm Rise paired, I have good incentive to roll here. But obviously, I didn't manage my econ very well this game because I literally forgot about the Shimmer scale being interest at 70 instead of interest at 50. So that's my bad as well. So I would have had even more gold to play around in this game. But anyways, I just wanted to show you the comp. The last time I showed this comp was when I played an upgraded adventure, and that was before everybody was kind of playing the comp, if that makes sense. So I played it just because it's something that I knew about in the stats and something that I figured would be pretty strong or pretty good to play. And with an upgraded adventure, I was just trying to 3-star as many units as possible so that this comp used a lot of one cost to upgrade, which is why I played a variation of this comp for that particular video. In this case here, I don't have much of an excuse of why I played so bad. I apologize, but should still be a learning experience, and hopefully from the mistakes that I point out in the video, you can also improve your own gameplay and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes. Against a lot of these boards now, because I have this Rise to help stabilize my damage, I should be stronger than most people. This guy barely lost. I think this guy should have beat me. I kind of cheesed him. I think I was like half a second off from this. If the karma ticked one more time, I would have died. What do we want here? It's probably just Thieves Gloves. I'll just Thieves Gloves a frontline unit. Play around the cloak. Oh. Yeah, just Thieves Gloves a frontline unit. I don't know why I'm thinking so hard about it. Just Thieves Gloves Lilia or something. Oh, I just make Guard Breaker. Guard Breaker's okay as well. Yeah, just make a second item for Rise. Because I think that's what I was thinking of. That makes sense. I think Thieves Gloves would have been better. But Guard Break, a second item on Rise is pretty good. I don't think I'm going to cap very high this game. I'd probably expect to get like a third probably. Like I'm probably going to lose to a lot of these boards that have upgraded units. Like this guy with a Nyla 3. It'd be crazy if I beat him. So I don't think I'm beating this guy. Yeah, it'd be crazy if I won. Yeah. It was close, but no cigar. Just a little bit too far ahead in terms of like the units. I expect to end this game around a third. I think if I didn't high roll Spellblades, I probably would have ended up a fourth. That's like the idea. But that's the idea with one cost rerolls. If you don't have a really good spot for it, you're pretty much just aiming for fourth. I don't think I'm beating that guy with the Wukong 3 as well. That looks like a disaster session waiting to happen. Also, I hope they B-patch Wukong. I'm gonna say it in this video. I was trying to be all like you know, nice in my patch review video, because a lot of time, like, because sometimes the patch review videos and like the tier list videos, sometimes they reach like everybody, and then I have like a lot of hate if I say something very polarizing, because like I don't know who watches my videos, but like I guess I just get some salty League people and they just dislike and start hating on me a bunch. So I usually try and be like more like nice about it. I'm gonna tell you guys now, this Wukong unit should not be buffed. There's gonna be a problem with this Wukong. I'm pretty sure like come Wednesday, everybody's gonna be playing Wukong. I do not see how people are not gonna be playing Wukong every single game. This Wukong unit is already like impossible to fucking kill, even outside of Preservers. I know like people are like, oh, but Preserver got nerfed. I'm like dead honest. They better B-patch that shit, or else it's gonna be just like Syndra except with Wukong. Everybody's gonna have a Wukong 2 on their board. I swear to God. I don't understand. Like I understand it's because of like the Riot client and all of that stuff. I get it. Like sometimes these things happen, but holy dick, like what the fuck? I hope they B-patch it, please. I don't want another 2 weeks of everybody forcing the same thing. Like, please. I'm so scared. I'm so scared because I really want to like do well this set and like play a lot. And like I'm already taking like a week off because I hit Emerald, and I'm like I really just don't want to play any more Syndra games. Like it's like every game you have to play Syndra, and I know that's like maybe an exaggeration, but not really. And I'm just like, please don't make it that every game I have to play Wukong. Like maybe it's not. Maybe, like, you know, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm saying maybe I misread the patch notes and they didn't really buff him, and it'll be okay. But like, I'm scared. I'm scared for Wednesday. I'm scared about this comp with the Ahri, and I'm scared about Wukong, and I don't understand. And you know, like, I was all like, you know, cheery about it, and people keep like saying to me, it's like, oh yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a good patch. I was like, yeah, Syndra's gone. I'm like, I don't even think Syndra was that bad until we see what Wukong can do. Okay, I killed the Wukong. It's fine. But this guy isn't really playing a real board. Oh. Yeah, this is what I was expecting. I think I'm gonna end up like 3rd or 4th, but it's probably gonna be a 3rd here. Now, I think this comp, if I started the game with like 3 Poppies, 3 Zoes, I think this game would have been a first, or first a bull, because I would have been so far ahead now that I could have like rolled a lot easier for like stuff. But I think that because I'm just like kind of far behind, it's a little bit difficult, because I just don't have the opportunity to 3-star too many units, if that makes sense. Like, pretty much, I don't even have Tarek 2 right now. I don't have Lilia 3. Oh, I have Tarek 2. Oh, God. Just sell the fucking Lilias. I need to win this round. Also, I found Guinsoo for Rise. Guinsoo's pretty good on Rise, especially with stuff like Scholar. I don't know the exact Rise build, because Rise is kind of weird. As a unit, everybody says that you make Guinsoo on Rise, but then you look at the stats and then it says that Guinsoo isn't that good sometimes, but then you put other items and it says Guinsoo is really good, and I'm just confused about it. Yeah, so both the low health dudes die. I expect to go 3rd. That makes sense, right? It's Crab Rave. I don't even think I beat the Crab because I don't have Lilia 3 and I don't have Tarek. I have Tarek 2. Oh god, I'm pretty sure I lose to Crab. This guy is multi-striker, and then this guy is Karma. So I think I lose to both of these guys. It's kind of funny that I think if there's a Syndra player in this lobby, I'd definitely go bot 4, by the way. I think everybody just didn't play Syndra because of Crab Rave, and then for some reason, nobody played Syndra. So that's great for me. Half HP, but my damage is about to die, so I definitely don't beat the Crab. Poppy looks like she's holding up, but she's gonna, as soon as she drops below half health, she's gonna die instantly. Yeah, because she loses the steadfast durability. I'm still alive though, but I just get 1 item. Yeah, so it's kind of just guaranteed a 3rd now. Oh god. Oh god, do I champion duplicator my... Oh. Steadfast is fine, surely. Yeah, I don't think I win the next fight. I've reached the max cap on my board. A lot of times, like, that's what I was saying. When you're stuck on 8, it makes sense if you're like rolling for Ahri, for example, right? If you hit Ahri 3 and you have 3 items on Ahri, then you have like so much. You basically have like somebody who just melts their front line as well. But in this case, I don't have that. Also, they didn't nerf Mordekaiser in the patch notes. I don't want to make a big deal about it, but isn't this unit kind of busted outside of Syndra? Like, sometimes I'd look at my Mordekaiser and you do as much damage as my Syndra in some of the games. Like, I'm serious. I feel like Mordekaiser is still busted. Anyways, I'll stop complaining about that stuff. This is just a 3rd. Not the kind of sloppy played, right? Not the best played game. Not the most amazing played game. I think I played this mostly out of tilt. Right? Remember when I started the game, I said, well, I only have 1 copy of Poppy, 1 copy of Zoe. I'm probably just playing because I won easy game. That's why I put the match history as well. I think I was playing at like 4 a.m. Oops, I'll go back. I was playing at like 4 a.m. Just couldn't sleep. And, 3 a.m. Couldn't sleep. And as you can see, I just lost all my last games. I think I played Syndra all 3 of these games. And I just had like super low roll games. So I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm just hard forcing whatever the first unit I hit is. And that's why I kind of end up playing this board. Obviously, if you hard force the board, I don't expect you to do much better than 3rd. That's why I say play it with caution. It's not like broken that you hard force and you get like a first, similar like Kog'Maw or Syndra or things like that, where you can get yourself into a really good position for late game. But at the same time, if you can find yourself to a Rise 2, Tarek 2, it does stabilize your board by quite a bit, makes your board very strong. Come Wednesday, you're probably going to see this board played with Ahri primarily. So be prepared to look up what items you want on Ahri. I think it's blue buff, and something else. You usually want like Giga AP on her, Giga damage, because you just want her to like one shot or shred through the front line. But we'll see. But make sure to keep up to date with that. I'll probably have a video on Ari reroll once that happens. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. Hopefully the video was still enjoyable. I'm doing these super late at night because you know, not super well, but I should be well enough to stream tomorrow. So if you want to stop by stream and say hi, you can also do that. Have a great day and see you all later.